6 chapters old. I seen rappers blow, I seen rappers go. Used to sag real low, now I'm dapper grown. When I walk down the street, you hear that saxophone.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming out. Give yourselves a round of applause for surviving that hurricane. You know, count your blessings. And next time they say it's a hurricane, we're going to take it serious this time. You know what I'm saying? You know, I did a lot with the community. I started producing my own shows. And what I noticed was I would have these dope hip-hop and R&B shows all over the state. You know what I'm saying? And the most important conversations, the most important information I was getting was from some of the people, from some of the artists and the businessmen that would come. It wasn't from their music or whatever product, it was from conversation. You know what I'm saying? So what I wanted to do was, from now on, every show that I have will dedicate a little bit of time to address some of these issues, some of these community issues with leaders of the community. All right? Alright, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to throw a question out here, and this will be a general one, and I'll direct certain questions. So this first question is to all the panel members. Why should the hip-hop generation be more involved in politics? And if they should be, what are some of the hip-hop generation's political concerns? What should be some of their political concerns? So, anybody, just feel free to grab the mic. Y'all can pass it back and forth.
Peace and love. What's up? How y'all doing? This is loud right here, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So the question is, why do you think the hip-hop generation should be involved in politics? First of all, hip-hop is the most influential genre of music there is. Even our elders who study musical history can contribute to the truth that hip-hop has brought a lot of funding to a lot of major corporations, a lot of business execs that the community has not benefited from. So therefore, I think hip-hop should definitely be inclined to become more aware politically, but also politicians need to be more inclined to hip-hop.
When you think about hip-hop and the true inspiration for hip-hop, this is where it comes from. It comes from being able to galvanize people. And when the question about hip-hop and politics, when you think about politics, politics simply means activities that are geared towards governance of a particular group or a particular area. So when you think about the core of what politics is, why not? Hip-hop has to be that tool that brings people to political awareness. And
Good evening, everybody. Anyway, hip-hop and politics. Me, myself, like Messiah being on the forefront in terms of hip-hop and speaking directly to people. I always say, if you've ever seen any of my interviews, I always tell people, with having a voice, you got a lot of responsibility. And that goes for everybody in the room. I mean, whether it's brothers, sisters, parents, you know what I mean? We all inspire one another. You know what I mean? Different, you know, we all know the issues involved in our community. But sometimes it's gonna take our voice. We are our own media. Sometimes when politicians won't stand up there and say and speak for us in terms of urbanly, you know what I mean? This thing is about.
This one is, I'm gonna direct this to Pastor Tory. All right, I listen to a lot of reggae, right? Sometimes I don't even know what they're saying, right? But I listen to it, I appreciate it, because one of the main reasons I listen to it and appreciate it is because they go really hard, but it's a lot of references to God, Jah, fighting against Babylon and the unrighteousness and the unholiness. You know, that's why I listen to it. Even if I don't know what they're saying, I hear that Babylon fight the power, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? So, why isn't there a similar focus on God, on spirituality in hip hop, in your opinion? Strictly your opinion.
Well, I think a couple things. One, we can't even entertain that question without understanding first the traditional baggage of Christianity, especially here in the United States. And we have to also remember the traditional the church is responsible. The church is responsible because the church has done an injustice and a misservice in terms of how they taught Jesus.
Now, I imagine in your recent battle, I saw the recent battle. Congratulations, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But I imagine your strategy, your content, and everything wouldn't have been the same 10 years ago. It seemed like you matured a lot, you know, from the old Smack DVD to the new stuff. Right. So I want to know, what did you pick up over the years that some of these brothers didn't, that made you make that transition to some of your content?
Right. It's simple. Just, you know, I got a natural hunger for knowledge, but everybody does. I mean, we all curious, I mean, by nature, like since birth, we all want to know. It just depends on what you get, what somebody gives you at the time that you're curious. So why we got certain conditions or conditionings based on what you know. It's all what you know. I was just blessed to have people, I mean, good loved ones, you know what I mean? Even some that wasn't blood related, but loved ones, and just, you know, wanted to help, you know what I mean, my cultivation, you know, pass me certain things that will, you know, attributed to self-knowledge. But that's basically what it is. I wanted to know more. Somebody fed me the right food. So when they're knowing, ready for the show.
All right, so this last question for the Q&A. They say that the music of an era is the snapshot of the people of that era. So if you take a snapshot of the music we hear today, what is that saying about us? And that's an open question, y'all. Just some comments.
Well, you mean hip hop in general?
Yeah, hip hop in general.
You know, it's different genres. Right now, I guess it's a different time, different demographic. You know what I mean? Coming from hip hop in the '80s, the '90s, and then up into now. I mean, I guess if you just did this decade, we did a lot of partying. This decade. A lot of partying. It sounds like a fun time, you know. But yeah, man. I mean, it depends on the duration of the gap. You know what I mean?
So like between 2000, 2005 was a different snapshot, and then
people still party.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Our culture, we hit some economic booms, right? Even if it didn't hit the community. And even when we have economic downturns, the community still spins. You know what I mean? And so we have that mentality of spending, which feeds into that culture of partying. I mean, that's why you got young kids, right? I'm a pastor, I love God, I believe in God, I trust God, but I'm real too. So when I talk to kids, I can't tell you to come off the corner and put stuff out of your hand if I'm not trying to put nothing else back in. Right. You know what I mean? That's just real. But you got these kids, you got to talk to them because they will hustle for $600 and then go ball out in the club this weekend. And they back on Monday broke. And it's a cycle that feeds what my brother Messiah was saying, that hopelessness, man. If you are hopeless and you don't feel like there's a way out, then you have to do something to feed that ego within you to say, I am somebody. Right. Everybody is dying to make that declaration. I am somebody and my life matters. They just don't know how. So when you look at the snapshot, I think it reflects a culture that's trying to buy its way to identity. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, clap.
Clap it up, church. So we got the whole FCBC here tonight, right? We got the whole show. He brought all his followers, man. Shout out to FCBC. So listen, the snapshot question. When I look at, you know, the music, and I'm a student of the culture, I really see it as, for the most part, fulfilling a prophecy. Because when you read scripture and you see some of the things that's supposed to be happening, and you listen to, you know, the outrightness. You know, back in the day, people may do things, but they had a little bit more you know, the lady will wear maybe a skirt that was maybe to the knees or somewhere, but now it's shameless. I mean, girls go to the club with their mothers, you feel me? And get it in, and do things that they would do with their homegirls, with their moms. You know what I mean? So we live in a time where you see, you know, brother killing brother, sister killing brother. You see the situation a lot in the angels, as you would read in the scripture in the Old Testament. And you make that relevant. You can't just listen to music, because you gotta understand music was also a sword. It's also a great weapon. It's also a great tool. So it comes back to a place of, we in a place of the time of destruction where we need medicine, we need healing.
Q&A section. Anyone have a question now? All right, so yeah, we're gonna start the Q&A section. This brother is the first brother. You think you can yell? Would you like to come and get on the microphone?
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Can you hear me? Yes. You know, you were talking about the politicians. I work for a city council person. In fact, you're in her district. Inez Dickens, the majority leader of the city council. And what I thought you were saying, at least I thought I was hearing, that you were saying that we need to get out and vote on Tuesday for Obama. Yeah, that's right. I thought that's what you were going to say. I just wasn't very clear.
Yes, we're all going to question. I'm from Trinidad, West Indies, right? I'm a permanent resident of the United States. I'm not allowed to vote by the law, but I'm allowed to pay taxes. See what I'm saying? So maybe this is something, as you as a citizen, you can address to some of your politicians that they probably won't respect my voice for. But I can politicize my community. I can teach my young brothers that sometimes when the politician won't respond to you, this is how you can take matters in your own hands in a responsible way without going.
Any other questions? Yeah. All right, sis.
I see a lot of our young men, I know this is an issue with the pants hanging down, sagging, and I know everybody knows about that and talks about that. But what do you think is the deeper meaning behind, like, literally walking to where you have to, like, pull your pants up like every 2 steps? Like, it seems like it's something deeper than just the style or like an outfit to be cool. Like, it's inhibiting so many things, and it's something that they just, it doesn't matter, you know? And I try whenever I see someone to be like, please can you just pull your pants up for me? And I find that they're like, I'm sorry. They'll pull them up right away. So, you know, if more people would, or women, because, you know, if we would say something, you know what I mean? Like, you're a nice looking man, just pull your pants up. You know what I mean? So I think we should take some responsibility and help that. But what's the deeper meaning behind
Not enough sisters telling them to do it. They'll do it for y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I mean, I wholeheartedly concur. You gotta remember, especially when you're talking about young.
What I'm saying, but your generation dropped the ball somewhere along the line then. Hold some responsibility for that. It's not correct.
Hold on, one at a
It's
time.
not correct. You're speaking very loudly and aggressively. What I am saying is, part of the reason is your generation dropped the ball. They don't come out of the womb this way. My generation didn't come out of the womb.
We multifaceted, we have to do it.
That's what institutions are.
It is, but institutions also have to be open. And we have to be honest that a lot of the institutions that are there are corrupt, are just as corrupt because of the systems that we are criticizing right now. We have to be honest about that. And for so long, we do have a history of hiding what is real about us. We have a history of that. Can we be honest about that? Because if we're not able to have open and honest dialogue about what the problems really are, we can never really think that we're going to address them.
I thought that's what we're doing here tonight.
No, I'm talking about the things that you raised. You say that's what institutions are. We have institutions here in Harlem that are inept.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I mean, but these are the places that we go. These are the ones who the money faucet is open for. So what are they doing in the community? Other than things that they can rubber stamp their names on to say, so that when election time comes, it says, I have done this, I can say I've done this, I can say I've supported that. What are we really doing on the ground? These are the honest dialogues that we have to have. When we talk about really galvanizing this community about change and transformation, it is going to start on the ground. You said one of the most powerful things at the beginning of your statement. You said there were a lot of black folk who sat on the sidelines while a few folk
risk their lives for change. So when you talk about the necessity of institutions, even though you were organized, it wasn't a full-fledged institution. It was grassroots movement. That's what brings about change. And people have to be inspired to commit themselves and their lives to a movement.
Well, guess what? That's up to you to do that.
It's not just up to me, it's up to all of us. It's up to us. And for the comment, hear me.
Can a young man be righteous anymore? Tell those kings to stop lying on the floor. Tell those queens to stop idolizing whores. We close to the exit, but we don't talk about style, nigga. When kids ain't got no breakfast, some kids got a death wish. You just got a guest list. $6,000 shoes, $6,000 lives. Trying to leap a gap, $6,000 wide. I ain't hating when you got mills, cause making it is ideal. I'm hating when they fake it and we read up on who got killed. Trying to be what's not real. Won't listen if I'm not fresh. Going crazy trying to build. Looking like I'm not stressed. Can't process the progress till you process the process. How is the right thing taken out of context? I don't hear haters like a bad connection. I'm feeling like Jesus at the last reception. Can a young man be righteous anymore? Tell those kings to stop lying on the floor. Tell those queens to stop idolizing whores. We close to the exit, but we dying at the door. And the whole industry using other people's names. Young this, little that, other people's lanes.